Tell me, Ward. You ask anybody who did it best, they'll tell you. This business of time catches up with you.
Josh Duhamel stars in London Calling as a hitman who has to mentor a young boy. It's an action comedy, and that, of course, is a blend of genres. So since my mandate is filmcraft, I wanted to talk to both the director and Josh to see how they managed to put those two things together.
For me, I've always found that the action genre offers so many different opportunities to bring in different genres, because you have action horror, action sci-fi, action drama. So for me, it's always started with character and sort of the conflict that you create.
Like the one that you're sitting next to, for example?
Yes.
I'm one big ball of conflict.
Yeah. It really starts with the characters for me. And it starts with their journey and sort of finding the humor in that. And then, the action to me has to be secondary, because if you're not invested in the characters, the action isn't as meaningful.
You've just kind of ruined it by winking at the audience, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right. That's such a good point. Just to add to that, I know you didn't ask me, but I do love that question, because it's all about the situations that you put these characters into too. And if they feel forced, if they feel like you're manipulating the audience in any way, they feel it immediately. And so what I really loved about this script and the way he shot it was that nothing ever, they always felt like real situations, which to me are always the funniest,
Does that mean that at times, as you're looking at it, you might say, well, guys, I think that's a little bit over the top. Let's pull it back. Pull it back. Does that happen?
It's a balance. It's a balance. You start with the script, of course, right, which is your roadmap. And then when you kind of get onto set and you find moments for ad-libbing and humor and things that, might not have been there on paper, there's definitely times, and, because this is our second movie together, and there's been times where he'll come in with an idea and I'll say, I think this is too much. And it's funny because there are times where he ends up being right and I'll use it. And there are times where I'll push back and say, I think maybe we're going too far here. And so it's part of trusting one another and trusting the process.
If you look at the credits on film after film, and I'm talking back for decades and decades and decades, you'll see people work together again and again. Would it be fair to say that one of the reasons is you now have an unspoken way of working with each other? That it's a little bit hard to explain, perhaps.
I think it's just trust, really.
Trust.
He trusts me. We're not afraid to sort of push back on certain things we feel, and somewhere we find we find the sweet spot in a scene where it's enough, but it's not too much.
Guys, thanks very much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Flicks with Patrick Stoner explores the craft and culture of filmmaking that enhance our communities for television stations and websites around the country.